Okay, good morning. Bit of an overcast day today, which is nice. Yesterday was very hot. So anyway, back at it, and I'm just making myself up some more patterns. So now I'm working on this transition here, and I'm going to go to exactly that point. And the reason for that is it's the same length as a sheet. So, and then I'll work that one later on. But got the template, nothing too serious. It's just a wider section here and then a skinnier one there, and then obviously the step, same as this, and then the joggle up here. So I did this one in two sections, so I've got two parts. They're offset, so if I can exaggerate the line, one's like this and it's wider at this end and gets skinnier, and then I turned it upside down and made the wider one here, and it basically gives me a square or rectangle. And I'll cut it through the center after I've cut it out, and I'll have two parts. One I'll go in the box away for when I get around the other side, and I'll work on this one this morning. So I'd like to be able to get this top section done today. I'll leave you and I'll come back. Alright, so I've got the next piece hammered out. This is all done with a hammer. So I don't have a really nice press brake or anything like that. So this is all hammer work on a vise. The same stuff they teach you in high school. So it fits pretty good. I'm happy with that. And yeah, it meets up. It's just in the corner there, you can just see where the original piece of metal curled around, and that's the transition where it meets. So it's pretty much exactly right. Obviously this needs to be bent down and then welded. And I'm still trying to work out what I'm going to do here, whether I weld on this rolled edge, or I trim the two pieces to meet each other and then weld along that, or I put this underneath and then weld from underneath. Still not sure, but so I've just got the one piece. I've got this piece now. This is a bit more involved. It shouldn't be that difficult, I'd say, but the idea would be to have so this thickness at one end of it, and then this thickness at the other end of it, and then using something like this, rolling around and working out the distance between the two, you should end up with a piece. So what I'll do is I'll either just grab myself a little bit of this stuff. It's flexible and you can just bend it into shape, and that'll give me the length, the overall length, and then I can just actually just measure it straight onto the steel, which would make it, cut 20 minutes out of my day. So anyway, bring you back. Alright, back again. So I've got all three pieces made up for this now. I'm just going to try and balance them up. So this one was a little more complicated than average. You can see that there's a fair few planes here. I didn't film any of it purely because you just got to get in and get it done sometimes. So maybe the other side I'll do a how-to on it, but for the purposes of this, I just basically got it together. So that's an exact fit. Sorry, I'm not looking through the lens here. So that's an exact fit. And what I'll do is I'll throw a couple of tacks in this now. There you go. And try and get the whole lot up on there just to show you what's happening. So with this one, basically if you imagine that it's just a flat piece of metal, I flipped this edge up, and then I flipped this one down, and then it was a matter of working out where it needed to be stretched and then shrunk. So this edge here, you stretch it out and that rolls it down. This side, you've got to gather the metal together to pull the edge down. So that was a lot of shrinking there and barely any stretching. It's very easy to stretch it, very hard to shrink it. So you've got to be careful when you're stretching, because you can make it very thin and tear it very easily. So gentle, just stretch just a tiny bit, and you pretty much got to triple your efforts on this side. So you can see the gauge marks that I've got. They're basically the marks that I needed to know where to follow around. So that length and this length are exactly the same, but this length here shrinks. So you measure your marks along, and you measure your marks along, and then you know when you shrink, when they meet at both ends, you're looking pretty good. So anyway, and basically it was just the opposite for that side down there. There is a bit of a transverse in it, so it's not exactly square. It's probably do your head in the first time you try and do it. There's like a little bit of a slippery dip corner going on, so it curls up tighter on this end than it does here, and that's because it sort of comes around the corner. Yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't probably recommend that, to try and do something like that. I would probably normally tell someone to just do a straight one and then try and do this in a couple of pieces, but I've got there. There's a little tiny bit of hammer work just to bring that back together, but that's really not really anything at all. It's a matter of just clamping it and then putting the weld on, and that'll bring all that all together. And I'll probably hit this edge with a file just to clean it up, and then the same with the back edge of this. So a little bit more work, but I'll try and get some sort of contour happening now for this video. Bring it back. Alright, I've cut forward a little bit. I just got a tack in over here and another tack here, and then tack and tack and tack, and then sort of worked my way up. A lot of fettling going on in here, just making things fit. So I'll have to hammer and dolly this just to get it to be right. Yeah, so a little bit more hammer work in here. It's just a little bit of a low spot just here. So if I go from underneath and knock that up, bring it up, and then I can sort of sand it just like this edge here. So this edge is pretty much good to go now. I could probably run a file this way 15 or 20 times just to, yes, there's a little bit of a corner there and there. In here I'm not worried about, because there's going to be a rubber channel that runs all the way along, so I'm not even going to sand that. That's going to stay as it is. And this little tack here will get ground down later on, but I just thought I'd show you where I'm at right now. I think it looks pretty good. It's it looks just like that one. So what I'll do now is I'll take it off the vehicle and then start working on making some templates, at least for the back side, and I may even have a finished dog leg today, but I doubt it. But I'm happy with it. Anyway, let me know what you think. Yeah, just so I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Hand-built Bob sent me some really good photos, and oh, they were really good for me actually. They are really detailed. Marcy Junebug sent a little video on the measurements as well. That between the two of them, it was really exceptional, and that's really what was enabling me to get this done. So hats off to you people. You've done a really nice thing for me actually, and it just shows you the power of the community out there sometimes. It you know, we're half a world away from each other, and they helped me get this done, so that's nice of them. And also Slade, he's got a channel as well, and he's got some cool little things going on at the moment, so all the best to him. He looks like he's coming along in leaps and bounds, and doing a really sterling job there on his little bug. So I hope that everything goes well for him, and go and give him a visit. Anyway, see you next time.